Chapter 1. The Retirement Revelation. Bob Jenkins had just turned 67 when he realized retirement was nothing like he expected. For decades, he had pictured it as a slow, peaceful existence. Mornings sipping coffee on the porch, afternoons reading the newspaper, and evenings watching the sun set over his quiet suburban neighborhood in Ohio. But after his final day at the factory, Bob found himself facing an unexpected problem: too much free time. The first week, he tried to keep busy. He took long walks, tackled some home improvement projects, and even attempted to write a memoir about his days as a machinist. But by Thursday, he was bored, really bored. He sat in his favorite recliner, staring at the blank page, when his wife Carol walked in holding a flyer. "Bob, have you seen this?" she said, waving a bright-colored brochure. "The retirement community down the street is hosting a senior games event. There's pickleball, shuffleboard, and even a dance night." Bob looked up, skepticism on his face. "Dance night? At our age?" Carol smiled. "Come on. It might be fun. You never know unless you try." Bob mulled it over. Could it be time to shake up the routine? Blank. Blank. Chapter 2. The Pickleball Panic. The first event Bob tried was pickleball, a curious game that looked like a mix of tennis, ping pong, and badminton. At the community center gym, a group of seniors had already claimed the courts, paddles in hand, laughing and chatting as if they were professional athletes. Bob, gripping his paddle like a lifeline, joined the novice group. "Relax, Bob. It's just a game," said Janet, 68, a retired schoolteacher with a wicked backhand. The whistle blew, and the game began. At first, Bob's shots were wild and erratic. One paddle swing sent the ball flying over the fence and into a neighbor's yard. Another attempt ricocheted off his own leg. "Careful, Bob. That's the self-goal," Janet teased. Despite his clumsiness, Bob found himself smiling, really smiling. The fast pace kept his mind sharp, and the friendly competition warmed his heart. After the game, Janet invited Bob to the weekly dance night. Bob laughed nervously. "Dancing? I haven't danced since prom." "Exactly. It's time to dust off those old moves," Janet said with a wink. Blank. Chapter 3. The Dance Floor Disaster. The community hall was decked out with twinkling lights and a DJ spinning 70s hits. Bob showed up in his best slacks and a shirt Carol insisted looked young and hip. Janet was already on the floor, cutting a rug with a confidence Bob admired. Bob's first attempt at dancing was, well, let's call it enthusiastic but awkward. He stepped on toes, missed beats, and even bumped into Mrs. Jenkins, no relation, who gave him a pointed look. At one point, Bob tried a spin move that ended with him almost face-planting into the punch bowl. Janet caught him just in time. "Maybe leave the spins to the pros," she joked. By the end of the night, Bob was laughing so hard he nearly forgot he was supposed to be too old for dancing. Blank. Chapter 4. The Shuffleboard Showdown. The next week brought the annual shuffleboard tournament. Bob, now feeling more confident, teamed up with Carol. Shuffleboard, for the uninitiated, is a game where you slide weighted pucks down a long court, aiming to land them in scoring zones without falling off the edge. Sounds simple, right? But the seniors of Cedar Hill Retirement Community treated it like the Super Bowl. Bob quickly learned about the spin shot, the block, and the double tap, terms thrown around like golf jargon. Their opponents? The reigning champions, Ruth and Harold. Married for 50 years and undefeated since the community center opened. The match was intense. Bob's first puck slid gracefully, landing right in the 10-point zone. Carol followed with a solid shot. But then Ruth unleashed a perfectly calculated block that sent Bob's puck tumbling off the court. "Don't worry, dear. It's all part of the game," Carol said, trying to keep the mood light. Harold smiled smugly but then missed a crucial shot, giving Bob and Carol a slim lead. On the final round, Bob lined up his last shot, took a deep breath, and flicked the puck with all his might. It landed, just barely, in the 15-point zone. They won by 5 points. The crowd cheered. Bob felt a surge of pride and the thrilling realization that competition was still alive in him. Blank. Blank. Chapter 5. The Technology Trials. Bob's adventures weren't limited to sports and dance. The retirement community offered a free Tech for Seniors class, which Carol dragged him to. "Come on, Bob. You need to learn how to use your smartphone properly," she said, holding up his clunky device. The class was a comedy of errors. Bob struggled to send a text, accidentally sent 3 emojis of a chicken to his granddaughter, and nearly deleted all his contacts trying to set up a calendar reminder. The instructor, a patient college student named Mia, walked Bob through video calling. "Say hi, Grandma," Mia encouraged Bob to call his sister. Bob hesitated. Then the screen lit up with his sister's face. "Well, I'll be," Bob said. "That's like magic." After a few more mishaps, Bob was actually starting to enjoy the digital connection. He even joined the community's Facebook group, where residents posted pictures of pet parades, homemade desserts, and debates over the best retirement hobbies. Blank. Chapter 6. Reflections on Friendship and Aging. One afternoon, sitting on the community garden bench, Bob and Carol reflected on their new life. "Remember when we thought retirement would be boring?" Carol mused. Bob chuckled. "Yeah, turns out, it's a whole new kind of busy." They talked about their friends, Janet, whose energy was infectious, Ruth and Harold, who showed that age was no barrier to winning, and Mia, who connected them to the modern world. They also shared stories about their pasts, the careers, the kids, the ups and downs, and realized that these years were their chance to live fully on their own terms. "It's like the final chapter of a good book," Carol said softly. "You want it to be memorable." Bob nodded. "And sometimes, you need to shake things up a bit." Blank. Chapter 7. The Annual Talent Show. The community's annual talent show was approaching, and Bob was invited to participate. He debated between a comedy routine or playing the banjo, his long-postponed dream. "Go with the banjo," Carol encouraged. Despite his nerves, Bob signed up. The night of the show, the hall was packed with eager residents. When it was Bob's turn, he stepped onto the stage, banjo in hand. He played a simple tune, rough around the edges but heartfelt. The audience clapped and cheered. Bob realized that the applause wasn't about perfection but about courage and joy. Blank. Chapter 8. Embracing the Ride. A year into retirement, Bob felt like a new man. He'd learned to dance, discovered the thrills of pickleball and shuffleboard, survived technology, and even performed on stage. More importantly, he'd embraced the unpredictable adventure of aging. Retirement isn't about slowing down, he told a newcomer at the community center. It's about finding new ways to enjoy the ride. Bob and Carol sat on their porch swing one evening, watching the sunset paint the sky in soft pinks and oranges. The quiet moments were still there, but now filled with laughter, friendship, and the sweet satisfaction of a life well lived. Because retirement, Bob had learned, was not the end, it was a second chance. Blank. Underscore. Blank.